Hi, I'm Quan Tracy Cherry, and I'm here with
Tavish, Carduff.
and we're representing Ourrawmaterial. And this is Music Week. And the question that we would really, really appreciate you leaving in the comments section is what movie or song would represent the soundtrack that's playing for your life right now? So movie or song and soundtrack for this present moment for Music Week. Ourrawmaterial.com, YouTube channel, and Instagram. You can leave comments there. Thanks.
We'll see you soon.
Go.
Hi, I am Tavish. This is Quan, and we are here to welcome you to Music Week, week 2 of the winter 2021 session, Ourrawmaterial. Go ahead.
No, it's a spiritual week that connects to listening and resources. So it's about listening to music, and it's about seeing music as a resource, particularly if, say, it's a really cloudy day. Sometimes you can put on a really uplifting tune, and you can get into the mood of the tune, and you don't necessarily not as affected by the weather or your environment.
You can change your feelings by
Yes.
playing a different tune, putting on a different song, hearing something different in your head. And I think that extends to the voice.
Yes.
When we get into music, it's not just about music.
No.
It's about what we hear internally. It's about that spiritual connection, and that we say music because we all love music.
Yes.
So it's that piece of us that sort of just operates in the world naturally, that feels right at home and in harmony with nature. And each of us have that little voice inside of us that is connected to our soul. And so many of us have been taught to hear a different negative voice as that voice that tells us that we're bad or wrong or anything like that. But the soul voice, that resonant, deep, connected, spiritual voice that music stuff, that Music Week comes from, the stuff of Music Week, that voice is benevolent and kind, and it really only shows us our passion and the caring, considerate, connected parts of ourselves.
The possibilities of our life, not the regrets or what went wrong. And, you know, this season of ORM, the winter season, we're really wanting to get us to focus on the bones, you know, so think of what music really, Tavish came up with the phrase, the marrow music, that bone marrow music, that where it really hits that internal structure or structures within the physical body. So that's another aspect of music. What hits you in those deep, even silent places. You know, because paradoxically, we're listening to music, but then there's also a way that it affects us that it's beyond words, that we're not able to maybe communicate what all that's going on in that bone marrow part of ourselves. So
it's also one area where it's really easy to objectively see differences among people and accept them. Because it's spiritually connected, we can appreciate that someone else likes a different kind of music than we do because it's all music. We can see our differences and allow them. You know, we don't sit there and say, well, how can you like country music?
Yeah.
That's disgusting. How can you think that way? How can you? I mean, we may not like it. We might have an opinion about what we like or don't like, but we're not holding people in a certain way for liking a certain kind of music.
One would hope, in an ideal world.
We might judge taste.
Yes.
But we will give appreciation to that the person is listening to music.
Yes.
You get a pass.
Yes, you do. And I suppose I get quizzical when someone doesn't like to dance to music, or music isn't a priority. Then I may go a little bit in terms of what. But then week 4 is ignorance, and you don't necessarily know what other people's connection to music may or may not be. One would hope that there's no trauma around music, but you don't necessarily know.
Dancing. I mean, there's a lot of
trauma around
dancing.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
You might not want to hang out with people that don't dance, but there are a lot of people in the world that have some issues with dancing, especially dancing in public.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people spend months before they get married figuring out how to look right in front of the congregation. And some people get so caught up in that that they miss the point of their wedding. They're just trying to be looking acceptable for that moment. So the music week material is more about that internal stuff, about satisfying the passionate, reverent, spiritual, connected self, and all of the voices that go into doing that. So playing music,
listening to music, the priorities. I mean, do you sing? Do you play an instrument? And is there a story behind not singing or not playing an instrument? You know, I mean, I know that I wanted to, but my mother said something about, well, she just didn't find it in the budget per se.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think not having the money to do something that you're passionate about when you're a kid, and your parents having to prioritize what they could spend money on. Singing is one that even if you didn't get formal lessons, your instrument's right there. Yeah. And if it's a working instrument, you can do it. Personally, mine, even with all the help in the world, I'm still going to sound like a really good Bob Dylan. That's about the extent of my ability. And I never learned to play an instrument, but I don't think I was trying to. But I retain lyrics. I don't know a lot of other things because I'm full of song lyrics, and they mean the world to me. But I have started just with this process listening a little bit more to the music, listening to the production, listening to the sound, and listening to how all of those intentions went into the making of my favorite words set to music.
Nice.
And I realize that I know it all in the background. It's there. I can, when I start listening for the guitar, I can pick it all out. I could pick the whole line out and not hear the words. So it's layered, and it's layered in my memory and in my consciousness when I look at it. It's not it's not present because I'm not aware of it when I'm not looking for it. So it's another really good way to just look at our own energy, because we have so many layers of energy, but we don't look at all of them. And until we have some intention about it, especially like with mentors, until you start looking at what you gained from situations, all you remember is the trauma of them, or the biggest moment, or the crash, or the boom, or the impact, not all of the residual resonant things that happen that become part of our personal soundtrack.
Yeah, and I feel it's also important, along with seeing the layers, to know that our souls want us to evolve through joy. So we don't necessarily need to go, we can get, the trauma is often major reference point, but it's also important to balance that, or look at, well, not only what did I gain, but how can I spend more time in gratitude and joy? And music is just, I think, one of the easiest pathways to do it, and certainly since it follows mentors. So, we've already got the stuff about parents and teachers and, just the kit and caboodle. And so music is sort of like, I feel, a natural pause in our raw material, which is already teaching us to pause to drink water, pause to breathe, and pause to do our physical alignment. So
I like how you throw that part in.
Okay, see,
We haven't been addressing that part as much.
Not enough.
It's integral.
Yes, and because I tell you that I don't care what week we're on, just by remembering to breathe, to be conscious of it has saved me a number of apologies that I didn't have to make because I kept my mouth shut, or kept a more conscious facial expression. And if I somehow put a facial expression that made the other individual ego uncomfortable, I was able to be at the ready from an authentic soul space as to what I was really intending behind said face or said words or whatever. And so ORM is magical in its simplicity. And yeah.
Just about breathing, the rhythm of the breath. We had a guy today, and I was talking to him about breathing, and he said, yeah, I breathe. I've been breathing every day for 33 years. And I just, laughed, and so I started putting my hand on him, like, let's breathe to here, let's breathe to here, breathe out to here. And he's looking at me like, what are you talking about? And he finally kind of got into a rhythm. And I was trying to explain, yes, we can do involuntary breathing. We all do it, and that's what keeps us alive. But if we use the breath as an actual tool, a rhythmic tool to clear the stuff, your breath really does become music within your body. And the way music soothes us, our breath can soothe us where we're tight and tense. So where these muscles attach to these bones, like the actual bones, not even a metaphorical bone, we have so much tightness right there. And we can loosen up our spiritual connections by getting into where those ligaments are and where the appendages all meet. Those joint areas, breathing into those helps keep the rhythm going in the entire body. So our body has its own rhythm. Our raw material has a rhythm. Interesting, the girl that helps out with our social media and website, I talked to her this morning. We start today, and for some reason she had it in her head that we were going to start on a Wednesday or a Sunday every time. And she started to say, I don't like it to not be consistent. And then she knew what I was going to say to her, which is, of course, like, this is why we're breaking it up. We're going with natural rhythm, not what fits the schedule that we've concocted that goes against natural rhythms. So the natural rhythm of our body is something to start listening to on top of music. But when we hear music we like, it forces us to start moving. There's music that gets your shoulders moving, and then there's music that gets you from the inside out. There's music that when it makes your hips shake, when it starts moving your pelvis, now you're in a rhythm. And that's music that gets you. And it's going to be different than the person sitting next to you, generally.
Yeah.
But that's where, again, I'll bring it back to where we see the uniqueness and the specialness in each person and in each of us. I don't have a singing voice. I've said that a million times, but I do like to sing. And one of my good friends has a memory of 6th grade lunchroom and me singing a song. And her memory isn't about me singing it badly. It's just me singing it. And I like that there's a memory of me singing because
You don't remember it.
Oh, I probably remember. I don't remember the specific time at lunch, but I know the song. Mexican radio, Wall of Voodoo.
I'm not familiar.
I'm on a Mexican radio. Well, I'll get it. I'll get it for you.
Yeah.
But I was singing that, and she brought it up years later that's her first memory of me singing that song. And it's just it's a spiritual connection. It uplifted me. I don't know what it does for her, but it definitely resonated something in me, and I felt seen in a way that I don't normally feel seen, because singing is not something, if she had said, you were singing terribly, and that's what I remember, that I would get. But this was I looked confident and cool singing, and I appreciated that. And it's it's one of those little moments that has you get a little taller because you meant something to someone. And in Music Week, that's where we see those types of rhythmic connections, and spirituality comes into play after our emotions. We go through all of the things that our mentors teach us, good and bad, but the next step, music, helps us solidify those memories, pull them together, make sense of them, soothe them,
Heal them.
Heal them.
Heal them.
Music heals.
No doubt about it. And I, one of the questions that came to me was, do you remember the first time somebody played an air guitar or the air drums, where they're doing imaginary connections to the instruments with the song? Because I have a memory in the 8th grade of Sean Cooper playing the air guitar. He ended up becoming a psychotherapist.
And you hadn't seen that before?
I had not seen that. I was about 11 or 12 years old, and it just...
How was that for you?
It was absolutely inspiring because he did it with this, wherever he was walking through the school. He didn't care what anyone thought, or he gave the appearance that he didn't care what anybody thought that he would be playing an air guitar, even if there were no music, if there was no music playing. So, yeah.
Oh, I like that. Mm-hmm. And then when you start thinking about music as a mentor, artists and lyrics and songs and things that were at different times in our life and how they connect to our mentors or how they connect to our moments, those ties are a symphony of emotion and expression, and just between mentors and music you can go back and forth and light up really fantastic feelings and really awful feelings and literally everything in between.
Yes.
It's all contained in those two emotional, spiritual weeks. And then the next two round out our personal experience. But for right now, how do you think? Why do you think? How do you dream?
Yeah, and are you more lyrical like Tavish, or do you do more music, or do you do both? So it's also about really deconstructing the anatomy of music, and there may be certain genres that you are more about lyrics, and in certain genres that you are more about music. So, or both.
Instrumental, totally about lyrics.
Yes, totally.
Can't be.
All right.
It's instrumental.
Got it. I think it's one of the places that we do learn to allow and to accept others. That we say, well, that's just what he or she or they like. It's a place of acceptance and allowing. And the more aware you are, the more awareing you're doing regarding this, I feel that that's the more mature, the more likely you're going to receive more in your life that brings more joy and play.
Music itself is that space, like we started with, where we allow common ground, where we allow other people to be who they are without as much judgment as we place around
other things.
Things about them.
Because we do. And so, what's the soundtrack, movie, song that's in your soundtrack for your life right now? Let us know.
Do you have a movie that's your life right now?
What just popped in was Fame, the old one, the original one, with Irene Cara. I'm gonna live forever.
You're gonna learn how to fly?
Yeah, that. But the song that comes to me right now would be Dogs in the Yard. I want to be lazy like the dogs in the yard. I want to go crazy like the dogs in the yard. There's a freedom lyric to it.
I like that.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, I was confused by movie and song because I don't have ones that go together, but the movie that I got when I asked that question, and I thought the answer would be I don't have one, but it is Defending Your Life.
Oh, I love that. With Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Defending Your Life.
Yeah.
And it feels like with this Ourrawmaterial process and bringing this to the people in our family and our, friends and things like that, there's a little bit of quality of Defending Your Life.
That's one of my favorite movies. So no, I get it. No, that's perfect though. Yeah, I like that. So,
music, straight from,
Thank you for being with us. We appreciate you sharing your time with us.
We'll see you next week when we talk about food and how we are nourished. Enjoy your week.